Welcome to the basement.
Welcome, all first and last time listeners, to the Basement Podcast. On this episode of The Basement, I'd like to welcome our new hosts. Guys, please introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Pianka and I am a new co-host on this show and I'm very excited to be here.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabriella. I'm also quite new and I'm super hyped to be here.
Lovely to have you guys on. So, just to open up on this episode, we are doing episode 5, Rules of Engagement. Before we even get into the little icebreakers, I just wanted to take a little bit of time to say thank you and goodbye to our 3 former hosts, Bash, Solution, and Dez. All of you guys would be sorely missed. Really glad that you were here for the beginning parts, the foundations of making this thing. But everyone had their own personal reasons for wanting to leave. Just to clear the air, I think Bash said he wanted to focus more on school. Solution was left because of his mental health, and Dez said that if the foundation wasn't here, he wasn't necessarily sure about continuing. So all understandable, and more power to him. Just wanted to say thank you, and the basement continues. Anyway, let us begin. Oh, which story? So the stories from Vice that I posted?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask if there were any in particular that you guys wanted to talk about.
Not really, but we can talk about the one about a woman is murdered every 3 hours in South Africa.
Yeah,
You can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What did you want to say? What did you think of? What did you think about the content? Because it's shocking, genuinely. I mean, it's not. How do I put it? It's not necessarily shocking if you've been around South Africa long enough and you kind of know that there is kind of like a male culture of rape that goes on. And I know this because I literally read a whole book about it. But yeah, no, but it's still shocking. Like once every 3 hours is still a bit of
It's
like,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. How did you feel like, just being like a woman reading that though?
Okay, as a woman who is currently living in South Africa, I mean, it was scary because it's not even like a shock to me, because there is like really huge rape culture here, and like every woman here is kind of always, and I mean like always, on their guard because of the high femicide rates. So I just wanted to talk about that because I felt like I really needed to touch on that as someone living in South Africa. Like just moving around day to day, having like the men stare at you and wait, it feels like they're raping you with their eyes. I don't know if you guys know what that feels like, but it's terrible. Like no matter where you are, you kind of never feel safe from most men in South Africa, which really sucks. But yeah.
There was that story I remember. I don't necessarily know if it was like 10 years ago or 9 years ago, where I think there was a girl who was wearing like a short skirt and she needed to get a combi, and then the combi drivers just like came and started abusing her and telling her to stop wearing a dress. And I was like, whoa, dudes are really going out of their way to make, a very sexist point.
Yeah, it's kind of as if the men in South Africa kind of feel this entitlement to your body. Like they can tell you what to do with it, what not to do with it, and they don't see anything wrong with that, which is really fucked up. But yeah, it's terrible. And I think it's really like gross that it's the women who have to be more cautious instead of the men being taught, what's right and what's wrong. You know, it's terrible.
Yeah, and like I wonder like socially, because I'm kind of looking at it from like obviously an outsider's perspective living in the UK and, reading about it on the news. And I'm wondering, how is it spoken about in South Africa socially? How is it sort of received there, like that kind of news? And what does society there think of it? Like,
I mean, I feel like recently they've been like protests and everything. I don't know if you guys saw this last year, and no, was it last year or was it 2019? It was between 2019 and 2020. There were huge protests of women marching. It was like pure rage, but it was actually really good to see someone, like a large number of people, speaking up about it. Because, okay, I can't really speak for before that because I only came to South Africa in 2019. But it seemed like, I don't know, it just seems like everybody had just kind of had enough of it. And that's when people started protesting and everything. And yeah, and obviously the younger generations are way more aware of how terrible the femicide rates are, and how much caution we need to take to, train the men in the country to respect women, and to understand the concept of consent. But the older generations, I don't know, it's sometimes as if they don't understand the issue with it. I don't know.
but is it
So
yeah, but does it seem to be something that's like institutional, like problematic in terms of like in institutions like schools? So like, is it just, I don't know, is it not taught in schools as well, or is it something that is more of like a private issue within your household, or um, does it seem to be something that is just, as you said, like it's the younger generations who seem to sort of move towards, a more equal society?
Can I just say, as a guy who was schooled in South Africa, I think like most of my primary school there. Um, I'll definitely tell you what the sex ed class involved, and my sex ed class was considered good. It was, this is an STD, this is AIDS. AIDS is a problem. Don't get AIDS. That was it.
Okay, I was saying that's a real problem because although there are like STDs and all of that people need to be cautious of, people will teach like children that in school and then continue to perpetuate rape culture in school as well by doing things like dress codes. Like girls must not wear short skirts, all of this because they're told it's like provocative, and they told that they're like tempting the men and all that. But why don't they teach the men that, okay, when you see someone in a short skirt, mind your business. It's none of your business. Consent is consent. I mean, I never went to school in South Africa for that long, so I can't really say, but yeah.
Sorry, yeah, it just seems like it's almost like a lack of like institutional encouragement, right? And it's like that is causing a lot of the issue as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of institutions, what did you think about the story on life as a student during the worst term ever? The video I found that like just moving on into like more COVID related situations. That shit was crazy. I was just watching it and thinking, man, I made such a good choice to come back to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, it was incredibly accurate. Like it really portrayed how students, especially in the UK, like how we're all feeling right now, paying like 9.5 grand a year for doing Zoom classes, and it was very accurate. And it also sort of portrayed how universities are really just not doing much about it. And I guess it's also down to the government to like obviously ease the situation and make things better, but the government is leaving universities out, and that's a huge issue. Yeah, and that's causing so much, outrage and all that. And it was definitely very infuriating.
Yeah, my cousin says y'all got caught out by universities because like he calls online uni YouTube Academy.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, y'all got caught out because the master classes they have online are like 1/100th of the school fees y'all have to pay, and you don't even get like the professional advice that like, like the world-class advice that those online master classes give you. And I want to
Exactly.
punch him because I hate how accurate his sentiment is.
It's so true though. It's literally like, when you like pay for a subscription for like some kind of online service and you cannot cancel your membership. That's what it feels like right now. And it feels like we have cheaper options available, all these master classes with all these professional celebrities and all kinds of people, which are much cheaper, but
And
we're
the
paying.
presentation is dope, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. It's like
um,
a subscription gone wrong.
Also, I'd like to point out to those of you that are listening, we are not sponsored by Masterclass. So yeah, we're just letting you know that, hey, listen, in these times, it's not the worst option. It's not. I wouldn't have recommended it before, but it's not the worst option anymore.
Now it's become better than uni. It really has.
All right. Well, let's move on to the actual discussion topic. We are doing rules of engagement. Okay, so guys, this week we're essentially building on some of the things we discussed last week with Love is Just a Feeling. Uh, but this week we are doing rules of engagement and discussing the DMs. Who doesn't like to talk about the DMs? I know I sure don't. But yeah, we're just talking about DMs and the rules of engagement and how to be appropriate and how not to be appropriate on social media when you're sliding in. So first, I just wanted to start off with what are one of the most absurd things that have ever happened to you guys in your DMs? I want to start off by saying I don't get a lot of people sliding into my DMs. I slide into DMs. I am that guy. No shame. But I just wanted to ask y'all first because yeah, I feel like you have some good stories.
Okay. I feel like the most bizarre thing that's ever happened is probably just like a dick pic with no context or anything. Like it just came and that was it. So yeah.
Yeah, something that you're just not expecting. I think there's definitely you get these occasional DMs. They'll slide into the DM and they'll just be like, "Hi, can I be your friend?" Or like, "Hi, I love you," or something like really random and like the most bizarre requests that you
Mm-hmm.
get. And like they're so unprecedented and you really haven't asked for it. And like, it's just crazy what people sometimes do just because they think they have that kind of right to do it, they just do it. And they just don't think like how the person's receiving something like, as Gabriella said, like a dick pic. Like what is a person meant to do with that? Like if I don't know you, you're a stranger. It's just bizarre what goes on in these people's heads. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. At least like put some context under it because it was just the picture. They didn't say hi. They didn't say enjoy this picture. Nothing. It was just a dick pic, and I'm like, okay, what am I
Wait,
supposed to say to this?
wait. I have a question. If they'd added context to the dick pic, would
No. Okay.
I'm just curious. Would you have responded if it was like, "Hey, how are you? Here is a picture of my 7-inch penis. How do you feel about it?"
Okay. Hold on. I think obviously it doesn't really change the fact that I've basically just gotten a really unrequited. It wouldn't have changed the response. Like I still wouldn't have responded. I still would have been kind of creeped out. Um, it would just make more sense if you added a bit of context. Like at least I know what your intentions were, what the point of it was.
At least you're selling yourself somehow.
Yeah. Please.
Bianca,
So
is there any specific joke that was told? Because we were discussing this off air, and I feel it needs to be brought up in the recorded conversation.
Oh yeah, so I have this like story from like 4 years ago. This one DM that happened to me out of like absolutely no context. This person messages me and just says, "Are you only a double act? No chance of a triple?" And then, like a day after, proceeds to say, "Fuck me if I'm wrong, but dinosaurs still exist." Like, what do I do with that? Like, what? Like, it's they get aired and then they come back and think that that works. It's the funniest thing.
I mean, I just can't get over the fact that my guy used the, hey man, like you should have sex with me because of this incorrect fact that I'm gonna tell you. Like, I don't know if that's like, would that work in real life? It's like if I came up to you, like if I came up to both of you and we was in a club, I was like, yo, listen, the lights look super great on you. Fuck me if I'm wrong. Would that work?
No.
Never.
No,
No.
never.
No.
If it doesn't work in real life, it won't work in the DMs. That's just what I feel. Maybe I'm not necessarily sure if I've encapsulated that point very well. So I just want to ask if it's specific to your to you guys as like to your sex. As does this affect you more as women? Because you know what, I won't lie, I've been accidentally sent a dick pic before, right? But it was very, very accidental and it was immediately resolved. But otherwise, I've never had any kind of like, you know, DM controversies. My DMs are very rarely slid into. So I just wanted to ask that.
Okay, firstly, I would like to know how it was resolved. Like, did you say something like, hey, you left your dick here?
Oh
Or
my God.
Okay. Quickly, the person was sending a dick pic to someone else over IG. They sent it to me by mistake because it was like it pulled up the recent contacts, and then he actually like he's got like sausage fingers, so his fingers slipped, and he sent me the dick pic, and then he sent me like 100 messages saying, "Do not open this message. This last message that I sent you." And of course, I didn't see he sent me all of those messages because the first thing I opened was the dick pic. So, yeah, yeah,
No.
sexting is a dangerous game, but anyway, on to the question.
I think guys definitely like are more forward when it comes to like DMing and sliding into DMs, and I don't think girls do it as much. Like, I might be wrong, but I think guys are braver, if you know what I mean, like to DM people and to just be like, "Hey, you look hot" or something. And it seems to be very much like a thing still. And usually, it seems to be that guys that slide into girls' DMs say something about their attractiveness and then hope that then the girl will be mad in love with them, and or something like that. And it seems to be like that's kind of how it seems to work right now. Might be wrong, but that's just how I see it.
I just feel like guys are usually way more encouraged to make the first move. Like, even in real life, guys are usually the ones to approach the girl. Um, so yeah, I agree with Pianka. I think that usually girls will get more DMs and guys will be the ones to DM.
Yeah, they often face the rejection and they move on, and it's kind of like DMing a bunch of people. The more you DM, the higher the chances someone will respond to you. It's almost like that kind of game.
Yeah.
My cousin.
Oh wait.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to ask you, Tunde, actually, about how it feels to DM a girl, because I feel like a lot of girls assume that guys are kind of just desensitized to, the fear of rejection or actually being rejected, or like, what if this happens? So what is it like?
Okay, so what it is like to slide into the DMs. Listen, we work on a probability scale. So and you're right, guys are desensitized to rejection. We kind of have to be, like, especially just like the way dating works nowadays, right? If you don't like, if a girl takes that first step, you gotta pounce on that because that's rare, right? Nah,
Yeah.
but as I said, we work on probability. So what my cousin says is, look, if you DM 5 random people, you're probably not going to get a single response from all of them. But if you DM 10 random people, guarantee you 2 or 3 of them will come back to you. Right? So sorry, I just saw Pianka's message in the chat. So yeah, what it's like is literally that. You send a message. I try not to send, perverted messages, right? I usually open up with something like, "Hey, I saw you on my friend's post. I think you're really cute. What's up?" Right? It's fairly basic, or like a joke maybe. So it's like if a story is on and I think there's like a little bit of humor, I can like make a punchline. That's what I send. But usually 7 out of 10 times you're gonna not get a response. You're gonna get seen. You're not gonna get ignored. It's like, but it's just a part of the game. What you hope for is those 3 that reply, and you're like, all right, let's work off this, right? But that's like an in-depth scope. Maybe I'm not good looking. I'm not the caliber of dude to get like consistent like DM replies from like a bunch of other people. But yeah, it is a cold environment where you just got to get used to, taking an L every once in a while.
So the question to that would be like, are you sort of expecting to develop a connection from the DMs, or are you just trying to like flirt with them and then that's it? Or like, I don't know, like I've always wondered whether guys like get pride from having multiple people in their DMs, like having like 10 or 15 people, or like is it just about finding that one person to have a connection with?
I mean, dudes like having multiple people in their DMs because it kind of says something about how you are as a man, right? Like it's like if I it's like the rule of plurality. It's like the more you have, the more like of a dude you are, like the more attractive, the more popular, right? So it's like it is like a pride thing, especially like because social media is a currency nowadays. So followers, likes, views, retweets, whatever the fuck. It's all like, it all feeds into your ego nowadays. So yeah, if you have multiple people in your DMs, it is something that you're kind of like proud of. But yeah, I don't know, like we really interrogating single dudes if we ask if I form a connection with people in the DMs. Once or twice it's led to something. It's usually just kind of like casual. It's like a casual meetup, go for a lunch, maybe like hook up one time, but it's rarely anything like profound.
I mean, I see that. I see that because it's like, it's almost like everything that's happening like online, you don't, you connect based on like a photo or like a video. So like the image you get of them is quite sort of superficial.
Hmm.
It's kind of like that. I feel like that's just how like the internet works. You know each other on a superficial level, but like not actually in depth. I don't know. It seems to be like a way it works at the moment with connections, especially like during COVID.
Man, you know what? I wish my DMs exploded a little more during COVID. It would have kept things entertaining. But anyway, I just wanted to ask the next question. How frequently do men or women slide into y'all's DMs? How often is it how often does it happen?
Okay. I would say it's kind of like a balance thing because usually girls will slide into your DM to ask, "Hey, can we be friends?" or just to be supportive, like girls supporting girls type of thing. And then men will slide in, to flirt, to see if something can happen. So I'd say it's like an equal thing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Gabriella. It's kind of like girls will usually slide in. Like in my case, they're just gonna maybe talk about like uni work or something like, they'll relate to you somehow, like, oh, are you struggling with uni, or like, I don't know, maybe something that's like, I don't know, about just supporting each other, is telling you like, oh, you're pretty or something like that. And then guys would, I wouldn't say it happens to me often, luckily. Um, but sometimes they'll just be like, "Hi, can I be your friend?" And it's so random. So yeah, I think it just happens. Like you don't expect it. It's occasional.
Actually, Tunde, I wanted to ask you something.
Shoot, this is rare.
When a guy slides in your DM and he says, "Can we be friends?" does he like really want to be friends? Or is there some kind of hidden intentions between it?
Okay, no guy has ever slid into my DMs and asked if we could be friends. When guys send me a message on Instagram, it's usually a meme. All right, it's some type of meme about some bullshit, right? Like okay, I'll give y'all a live example right now. I'm going to IG to check my DMs, and uh, what was the last thing a nigga sent me? A nigga sent me a reel of tag the friend that reminds you of this, and I'll attach the post in the video, but it's basically of a dude taking a 50-foot shot and missing the backboard, right? So it's like basketball comedy. There's never ever a dude who slides into my DMs and is like, "Yo, let's be friends." I'm like, "Nah, bro." What does happen that annoys me though is that sometimes you get like put onto these group chats and it's about like and it's women who are like selling sex or selling porn. That shit is annoying.
That annoys me too.
Oh my god.
That's really annoying.
Yeah,
I
that's
get added.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
It's just such an obvious catfish. Oh, it's like that is like of if I have to say like anything that's the worst, that's the worst. Right? It doesn't happen as frequently as it used to, though. Something happened with the internet where they decided to calm down. So yeah.
How about when a guy slides into a girl's DM asking if we can be friends? Does he only want to be friends?
Hell no, that nigga doesn't want to be friends. No way. Nah. A guy is just sliding. He's just casual. Why is he in your DMs to begin with then?
literally.
Be friends.
Nah. Nah. Look, if a guy is ever sliding into another guy's DM, into another girl's DMs, sorry, my bad. If a guy is ever sliding into another girl's DMs, it's always sexual. It's never not sexual. All right, like we'll get into the rules of engagement just now, but nah, it's never that. It's just like I don't know. I'm a dude, so I feel like I know dudes well enough because I've been around dudes my entire life, right? I was in private school at an all boys school at some point. I was at boarding school with guys and girls. So I know niggas like we don't ever do anything without intention, right? Because even if a guy is just talking to you like friendly, right, and this is like some real life shit, he gonna go back to his friends and they're gonna be like, "Yo, why are you talking to that girl?" It's like, "Oh, we just friends." Like, nah, bro, tell us what's happening. And every time a nigga always breaks, he's like, "Hi, yeah, nah, I was trying to slide in and get something." Right? So maybe I'm like generalizing guys too much, but from my experience, that's what I know.
So you don't think like guys and girls can just be friends?
I think guys and girls can just be friends, but if they don't know each other like that, then it's never just about being friends. Right?
Yeah, if they're just strangers, that makes sense. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because I don't know how much of my personality you can gauge off Instagram. All right, like I come off as socially introverted on Instagram because I rarely post, right? But people who know me know I talk a lot of shit, right? Gabriella on her IG checks like she's a super fun loving person, but like I've met Gabriella in person once, like a couple of times, and I know she can be cold if you piss her off.
What? No.
If you're pissed off,
Okay.
all right.
Fine. I don't know.
Right. So you can gauge certain things, but it's like if you wanted to be friends with someone, bro, go to church, go to youth, go to like a social event. I know it's hard now, but like, just find other outlets. Like talk to one of your old school friends if you're looking for like, if you're looking to find a friend, bro. But if you're sliding into a stranger's DMs, nah, fuck out of here. That's not gonna work. Okay, guys, so we are now on to the rules of engagement. So we've discussed a lot about dudes sliding into DMs, dudes failing to slide into DMs, dudes sliding into DMs to just be your friend. But now I want to know, how should people slide into your DMs? What would you like them to do more often? What would you like them to do better? How can they be better?
Haven't thought about that.
I don't think that there is a method, and I don't know. I think the word of wisdom is don't be thirsty. I don't know. Probably like I don't think there should be such a thing as like rules for like sliding in, or like step-by-step tutorials on like how to be good at sliding into the DMs. That's kind of funny because like I know we watched this video by this guy who was almost like teaching guys how to slide into the DMs, and it was like step by step, like throw a like and then like say some kind of compliment like, oh, you've got really nice hair, and then that should magically land you a response. And I think like that in itself also is creepy in my opinion. I don't know what Gabriella thinks.
Okay, I think just keep it don't think about it too much. Keep it very organic. Like I feel like instead of starting the conversation with, "Hey, you're beautiful," like let's like just like that, like starting the conversation with a compliment, because after that, I mean, there's not much conversation that will probably happen. I feel like the best way would be to respond to a story or something that this person can relate to, because then you can actually start a conversation,
Exactly, and I feel like when you remove that sort of sexual agenda, I think things become much more smooth, and it's not like, oh, I'm DMing her because she looks hot. Like, no, I'm DMing her because she's interesting and, she has this cool hobby and I really want to know about it more. And I feel like
Exactly.
removing that kind of agenda would be so good if guys actually did more of that for, the girls who are, single.
Okay, so I want to know now. I'm going to put this out to the listeners. Gabriella and Pianka are not single. They're off the market. So none of y'all get any ideas from this question I'm about to ask. But in a hypothetical world where both of y'all's boyfriends have vanished for mysterious circumstances, and as terrible as it was to lose them, you have moved on, right? How exactly would you want a guy to slide into your DM? Give me like a small step-by-step tutorial. And by step-by-step, I mean 2 to 3 steps of what you think would work.
Okay, I would. No, Bianca, you can go.
Okay, no, Gabriella, you go first.
I would really appreciate it if you went first, but
that took ages to think about. I was like,
okay. Let's see. Okay, I actually do think that maybe if you like a picture or something, that kind of gives you an idea of where I'm at. Because if you like a picture and I go to your page and I like a picture, that shows that, oh, okay, this is like pretty cool. Like whether it was a picture of you or a picture of like something that you like doing, you know that I have some type of interest. Then a follow back, then maybe just a message like, hey, I noticed that you're into this. Even if it's like, instead of saying like, oh, you look really nice in this picture, say, I really like the way you did your makeup in this picture. Like that would be amazing. So yeah.
You giving dudes way too much credit. But okay, yeah. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pianka, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I absolutely agree with Gabrielle. I think that's like the kind of right way to go about it. It's just like recognizing the girl for something other than like her physical features. Like it's like some kind of skill they have, like as Gabriella said, like, oh yeah, you've done your makeup like in a really cool way or something, like, or like, oh wow, it seems like you're into art. I'm into art too or something. And sort of finding things that are like going beyond the physical connection and actually looking into like, finding things that you have in common and then talking about that, in my opinion. It'd be like a smooth way to start a conversation with a complete stranger you don't know, but someone you following on Instagram or something, and you want to talk to them.
So now here's my question. You guys are low-key kind of Pianka kind of jumped the gun and mentioned this early, but there is a video that she mentioned earlier, and it's a very popular video, so it has influence. But there's this guy, but there's a video by this guy on a podcast called The Basement Yard, and he basically gives like a tutorial about how to slide into DMs. And the three rules that he gives are to toss a like, compliment a girl on her non-boner features. So non-boner features being something like their hair or something that they're interested in regards to like art and all of that. So it sounds like y'all have laid down the rules of engagement pretty clearly. Is that what that guy said is correct? Now I know Pianka doesn't necessarily like agree with this guy, so I just kind of want to see like what exactly it is that you disagreed about like his video.
I think, well, the part of him saying like, oh yeah, like some of her pictures and then like, show that you're like looking at her. I don't know, like, and then going into the DMs and saying, "Hi, I think your hair is really hot," or like, "I think you have really cute eyes." I think that's creepy in my view, like regardless of whether it's, not necessarily related to sexual attraction, it's still just pointing out the girl's physical features rather than looking at something other than her physical features. That's why I disagree with his like sort of teaching of like, oh, just go into the DMs and then, the girl definitely will not think that you have a bad agenda if you're complimenting her on her hair, because that's definitely not a weird agenda to have. If you like, I think that's what I disagree with. It's still focusing on like the external features of a person who's like on Instagram, who could have easily edited her hair or something, who could have easily like done something to it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I sort of still think is a problem, to say that like, oh yeah, that's how you're gonna score a girl's attention. Like 100%. Guaranteed.
Okay, I see what you mean. So now my next question is like to both of y'all, right? Is that okay, fine, right? It sounds like, we've been talking about dudes who aren't necessarily of a high caliber, right? No offense to the dudes that have previously slid into your DMs that you guys have Dikembe Mutombo the fuck out of there, right? But now let's talk about someone of a higher caliber, right? Let's talk celebrity, right? Let's talk like big names, all right? What if I was to say like shit, I don't know. What celebrities do women like nowadays? Because none of the guys that I listen to or care about will be like, okay, boom. Let's say Captain America, Chris Evans slides into your DMs. How do we feel about that?
Is he not like a grown man? That's low-key creepy.
Okay, fine. Gabriella, for you, Lil Baby slid into your D. No, wait, that I'm not necessarily sure. I want to be giving Lil Baby that kind of runway.
Let me help. Can
Yeah.
I help?
Yeah, help, please.
I would probably say maybe Brent Fayez. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing, but Brent.
Don't act like I'm average.
Timothy Chalamet, if that's how you pronounce it, and females maybe Alexa Demi.
Jennifer Lopez.
Ooh, Jennifer Lopez. Who else? Ooh, Zendaya.
Okay. We forgot about her for a second.
We did, and she won an Emmy. Let's not forget that she won an Emmy. All right, fine. So Gabriella, Zendaya, hot off her Emmy, has just slid into your DMs asking to link up. Right? She's going to pay for you to get a ticket to go to whatever, like to the States. She's going to like meet up with you and all of that. You're like, are you going? Are you saying yes or no? Does it change when it's does the situation change when it's a celebrity involved?
Okay, firstly, I feel like I would be slightly skeptical because, Secondly, I don't know. I think I'd be really like skeptical at first, and then I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah, not missing the opportunity. Doesn't matter what she says, really. I'm going.
Okay, so it's definitely if it's like yo, if it's like if someone with like okay, fine, but like okay, let's say it's not a celebrity. Let's like take it down a bit, all right? Like maybe not a celebrity, but someone with like some very definite clout. Like on Instagram they're I guess in my case like what I like the female equivalent or like the male equivalent of like an Instagram model, like someone who's got like mad followers, but they aren't famous for anything aside from like Instagram. Like they got 20K followers and like, they just post like pictures of themselves and that's what they're famous for. And they slide into your DMs and they say, let's get it. How do you feel about that? Because maybe Zendaya she's a little too powerful. The influence is a little too strong. Like let's bring it down a little bit to like an achievable level.
No, in my opinion, followers don't change anything, and a blue tick next to your name also doesn't change anything, in my view. Like, you're still creepy if you're saying some weird stuff in the DMs. Like, you're still weird, and you still might be like some fake, like someone's hacked into your account and you're just spamming different accounts. So, like, I still would be skeptical, regardless of whether they're supposedly famous or not, like verified, so to speak.
Okay, okay. You know what? I feel like it's easy for you to say that because you've been in a relationship for a while now. So
Exactly.
like, so I feel it's too easy for you. All right. I'm going to say this now as a dude, right? If and I hope she hears this somehow. I hope she does. Right. I don't know how she'll hear it, but I pray to God that she does. But if Mobile Kwezi, who is an absolutely beautiful and amazing woman on Instagram who is a great follow, and I'd recommend to everyone following her. If she ever said anything to me in my DMs, oh my God, I would jump on the first plane to Cape Town without thinking. Um, I got a weird story. I follow her friend. Her friend is like named Jordan Reed. I once sent Jordan Reed a picture of a puppy. Bro, she liked my photo. She didn't say anything in response. She just liked
But
it.
she liked it.
I was blowing my own horn. I was like, fuck you other niggas, man. I got Jordan Reed to like one of my fucking photos of a goddamn puppy. I don't even like that puppy. I hate that puppy, but she liked that puppy. And that's what's important. But yeah, okay, so Gabriella, if it's just someone who's verified on Instagram with mad followers, how are you feeling? Because you only jumping on that jet if it's Zendaya calling.
Okay, like a male model type of person.
Yeah, yeah.
It depends firstly on what they say. But if they're like not super creepy, if they're like, respectful, but then I'm also in a relationship, so this is weird to say. But
I
if they're
just don't tell your
respectful, not too.
boyfriend to listen to this podcast. Just tell him, hey, yo, the basement, I'm on it, but I'm not really there, so don't listen.
I'm not there. I'm just a ghost.
I was just there to listen, bro. That wasn't really me.
That
But
was me.
okay, if I wasn't with my boyfriend, that's even weird to say. But if I wasn't, and male model, I liked him, like the way he looked, and he wasn't super creepy. Then I would continue talking to him, but I probably wouldn't link up with him right away because, as Pianka said, like, what if he's like someone's hacked their account and now,
All right, fine. Right. So basically, what I'm understanding is that if I need to slide into either of y'all's DMs, I just need to be Drake. That's like essentially what I'm getting at. So I need to achieve a level of superstardom where, irregardless of who, nah, but also like be respectful to women, guys. Like Drake, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but if you are, be respectful to women. All right. Tell us about your kids. Um, All right. So just to close out, um, I just want to ask: is this all just really about sex at the end of the day? Or do you guys think it's possible to make a meaningful connection from someone who slid into your DMs? Right?
I think it's actually possible to make a meaningful connection. But I feel like it mostly has to start from pure intentions, you know?
Yeah, I think you can make a meaningful connection. I think there's been like a lot of these stories where like, you found like I don't know if they're real or fake, but these people like, oh yeah, I found my best friend through like DMing them on Instagram or something. And like you make this connection with them somehow online. It's never happened to me, but like I think it's possible if you're going at it with like pure intention and it's not just about sex. It's definitely possible.
But is it just about sex?
I think when guys do it, it is.
That was very honest. And yeah.
Okay, all right, fine. So you guys think if you could slide into another dude's DMs and get a meaningful relationship? Because y'all are women. All right, I'm a guy. I know this. I'm like, yeah, you like my feelings on sliding into women's DMs are already on record. So I just want to know how y'all think you could slide into a guy's DMs and get like a meaningful connection out of it.
I think the guy would probably overthink it and they'd probably be like, oh, she's trying to send me some subliminal signals, some subliminal messages, and I got to decode this shit right now. And I think
Mm.
that's probably what would happen. And it would just get weird. So I don't know about that actually.
Y'all do the codes though. I'm not even going cap. Like
The code.
y'all do have codes for shit, man. I swear to God. I like, you know what, like I'm not trying to be that dude right now, but I mean like to say like there isn't codes would be like I feel like it wouldn't be honest if I just agreed like there ain't no codes out here that aren't there to decipher because like people would be like don't touch me and then it was you're like and then they're like no but I wanted you to keep touching me. I was like wait what? But you said explicitly don't touch me like like that kind of shit like dudes feel like
Well,
they're codes because there are codes.
I get what you mean. So it's like a kind of like, when girls play the game, I know what game you're talking about. It's like the kind of like, don't touch me, but like, obviously you were meant to touch me when I say that because I'm implying that like you should because I'm saying you shouldn't. I know guys don't get that. It's okay.
Hey, you know what, we don't.
Not even I got that. I was a little confused.
I don't know if I understand myself.
I think what at the end of the day is that guys are simpletons and we like shit very like on the plate, man. Like that's why guys is perfect. That's why I like guys when they're like talking about a perfect woman, they're always like, man, I just want a chick with a dude's personality.
I feel like that's somewhat maybe concealed homosexuality, and that needs to be spoken about. But for
Hmm.
now,
I mean, we no,
because
we still got time. We still got time. Like let's. I think
guys will
we got like 30 minutes before Pianka has to go. So yeah, no, let's keep it rolling.
guys will literally say that their perfect woman is literally just a male in a really hot female's body. Like that's literally it. And
Like no,
I
go.
think I think it's unrealistic, and I also think it may be slightly gay. That is all.
All right,
That is
why is it slightly gay?
Because you're describing your homie, but in a different body. How is that not gay? I don't know.
I mean, like you know what? Like if like there, you know what? I think it stems from like the possibility that it can be real. Like you know what? It's maybe I don't maybe it's asking a bit too much. Like if you're asking for a girl who like follows sports the same way you do and like plays video games. That damn, I sound like a young ass motherfucker when I say that. Now that I think about it, right? But like like it maybe it's wishful thinking. But you know what? Shit. Sometimes I want a girl I can talk to Star Wars about, and I feel like that's not a hard thing. It's a very popular franchise.
Yeah, I feel like often guys are just looking for more like for girls to just be more straightforward. And often when they say, "Oh yeah, I want a girl to just be more like the guys," it's more like I want them to speak their mind more and not give me subliminal Morse code. And I take that. It's a fair point. It's definitely a fair point. I don't blame guys for like wanting that because it just makes their life a bit easier, you know.
But nothing's easy. Nothing's easy. Oh, all right. Nah, it can't be. All right. Well, I guess that is this episode of The Basement. But I won't lie, I really enjoyed that. And guys, thank you so much for becoming official hosts. Yeah, looking forward to our next episode. Uh, just for the people listening, so our next episode is going to be part of a new series. So we're inviting a third. I'm inviting a new co-host on for Trey, and we're doing a different series called The Basement Underground, where we'll be looking at music and television shows that we think weren't necessarily, that didn't receive like their full recognition. So next week will still be a bit different. But we figuring things out. When you lose three of your hosts in 1 week, and it takes a lot of time to like figure out how you're gonna actually continue to do shit. There's going to be a lot of change. There's going to be a lot of things shifting around. But we will still give you that same old basement. But really, really glad to have these guys on board, and thank you to everyone for listening. Say bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for having us on, Tunde.
Bye. Yeah, great.